Good morning and welcome to a conversation with Michael Smith and Motlow State students, faculty, and admin. My name is Michael Torrence and I'm the president of this institution, and we're happy to have you today. Today's conversation will be surrounding the consciousness of the importance of having student-led voices engaged not just for the sake of hearing them, but listening to them and engaging in the strategic process of leadership. How do you go about being first to force, engaging with an institution, engaging with other students, building blocks of success for life? I'd like to introduce Michael Smith, who's to my left, and we'll get the conversation going. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Torrence. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Hello, and welcome to this conversation I am having at Motlow State Community College. I'm excited to be here, and I am going to allow the guests. Are you all guests? Would you consider yourselves guests?
I know pretty well.
Yeah. The guests to introduce themselves. We'll start from left to right in the front with Emma.
Hi, my name is Emma Pettigale, and I'm one of the vice presidents of PTK on the McMinnville campus.
My name is Cameron Shambly. I'm an active member of PTK, and I'm a recipient of the Distinguished Member Award.
Hello, my name is Catherine Cleveland, and I am the chapter president of Phi Theta Kappa.
Hi, my name is Hannah Barrett, and I'm the vice president of Phi Theta Kappa on the Smyrna campus, and I'm the recipient of the Heights Scholarship.
Hi, my name is Sarah Watts. I am co-vice president at the McMinnville campus of PTK.
My name is Robin Wanamaker, and I am one of the advisors and a full-time administrator at Motlow State Community College and a part-time adjunct professor.
My name is Darren Deaton Owens, and I'm one of the co-advisors for Phi Theta Kappa, and I'm an associate professor of psychology and sociology at our McMinnville campus.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Let's start with Sarah, and we're going to go around, and if everybody can answer this particular question. What first drew you to step into leadership rather than simply participate?
Well, on the McMinnville campus, we have two amazing advisors. That is Darren and Misty, and they make it they really walk you through it. They make you feel confident. They make you feel like you belong and you're part of something bigger. So if somebody was my age starting out, they might be a little shy to get involved in anything, just going back to college, and just feeling included, that has raised my confidence, and all the opportunities that they presented to me as well. So.
Love that.
Well, Misty Griffith is also here, and we should acknowledge the fact that she showed up ill today on spring break to participate with us. And additionally, I have not a question, but an observation. It seems that if you're in McMinnville, you have access to these apple and cherry hand pies that Misty makes. was that one of the ways that she coerced you to get involved in Phi Theta Kappa?
Well, I would have been easily coerced with that. I've not had the pleasure.
That should be on. You got to do it.
Yeah, gotta make that happen.
I'll work on that.
I first got drawn to leadership in PTK because one of my friends actually did, and I saw how much it could do for her. She was a recipient of All-State last year, so I was like, wow, what can I do to get involved with PTK, because it's done so much for my friends. So I talked to Catherine here, and we had a meeting, and she put me on as VP of Honors and Action, and that's where it all got started, and it's been really great from there.
So when I got my invitation, I thought it was spam. And I was a student of Darren's in her intro to psychology class. I stalked the PTK page, found our advisors, and said, oh, wait a minute, she's my teacher. And I sent her an email. It was right at elections for officer positions, and nobody was running for chapter president. So I reached out to Misty Griffith, and I said, I have a lot going on in my life. I'm a part-time student, full-time real estate agent, and I don't want to run for something that I might not be able to complete the responsibilities of. And so she took time out of her schedule, spoke to me on the phone, and I put my name in, and I was elected by my peers, and the rest is history.
It's not history yet. You're still here.
I'm actually not in leadership, but I'd like to point out the fact after Catherine got done speaking, I honestly kind of wanted to start clapping. I was just like sitting here, I was just like, wow, that is a beautiful story. Good night. But I'm actually not in leadership. I am just a member. There haven't really been any, I've been trying to get in leadership, but I'll definitely say there's been a lot of impact with just being a member and being able to serve underneath these
Being
great
involved.
leaders. Yeah, I mean, the involvement that PTK has offered me, it's honestly changed my life. It's given me passion. It's honestly given me a lot of direction. And I don't think there are a lot of societies or institutions that can offer that to people. It's one of those things that's life-changing, and I don't think I could recommend it more than anyone. I think I'm probably going to tell my children to join PTK.
Slow down.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like I was in Boy Scouts too, and it's kind of like cohorted to that. Like whenever my kid, like I did Boy Scouts for over 6 years, and I equaled out, and then I kind of went through that, and I have the same feeling from PTK as I do from Boy Scouts. Yeah, it builds a strong community, and it gives you skills that'll be with you for the rest of your life. Might not be knots, but it's knowledge for sure.
Awesome.
So what initially drew me into leadership rather than just being a PTK member is like what Sarah said, is our amazing advisors. I could honestly not be enough grateful for them. They have done so much for me and have really pushed me to get involved. When I started Motlow, I mainly took online courses, and I was definitely the student with my head down. If I seen any tables promoting leadership or other committees, I would just put my head down and I would run away. And I've always been more shy and introverted. And when I joined PTK, initially it was for what I could receive at graduation, because I did not just want a black gown. But that quickly changed after I attended the first meeting. There was elections running for officers. And I've kind of thought about it. I was like, that would be neat. And the sense of belonging that I got from the first meeting, I was like, well, maybe I could do this. And I emailed our advisors, and they really encouraged me to do this. So it helped me step into this leadership, and I honestly could not recommend it more. It's expanded me and grown me in ways that I could honestly never, ever done myself. So that is what drew me into leadership.
Awesome. Actually, I have a different question for you two. What led you to, well, it's a similar question, but what led you to leadership in this capacity and with this organization?
Well, I am an advisor now, but I did start out as a member. I was a Motlow student back in 2013. Actually came back from California after getting a trade certificate, worked in recovery out there. But I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to meet those goals. And I also thought it was spam, much like our president. And I thought somebody had made a mistake to invite me. But it was a way I could turn my life around and invest in a community that I wanted to be a part of. So what drew me to leadership, one, was the fact that it was people of all different disciplines, people that I was going to work beside, people that I was going to build a community and economy with. But it was at a community college where I could help take care of my parents in their older years, but it was also like a culture of belonging. It was a place where I could be drawn in and work on the hallmarks, the leadership, the fellowship, the scholarship, and the service. And if you know anything about community colleges, the way we serve one another is how we build the community that we become a part of. And Phi Theta Kappa is much like that, but it's also, I had failed before in life, and I didn't want to fail again. And if you look statistically at people that are in Phi Theta Kappa and compare us to students with the exact same GPA, we are 91% more likely to persist and graduate. So I couldn't argue with the possibility and the funding and the access. And then I worked with Phi Theta Kappa and Tennessee to try and create more access and more funding. And that's what keeps me here, and that's what keeps me as both a member, alumni, and an advisor.
So my response is a little different because this was not necessarily on my life course, not my trajectory to be an advisor of Phi Theta Kappa. after high school, I went to a four-year institution, and I was one of those students that went to class, kept their head down, did not get involved. I just wanted to do well in my classes and graduate and go about, my career and my life. So I did that. I was a counselor before I came to Motlow, and, my job path changed quite quickly, and that, led me to teach at Motlow. And I thought, okay, this is something I can do for the rest of my life. But Greg Garrison, which is one of our other Phi Theta Kappa advisors, he came up to me one day and said, hey, we have an advisor retiring. I need some help. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, they look like they have a great network, they have fun, but I also wanted to kind of go back and deal with my mistakes from college because I wasn't involved and I didn't go that extra mile and I didn't get engaged, and I thought that this would be my time to be engaged. And it's the best decision that I've ever made. I love teaching, but being able to work with these students one-on-one impacts me greatly. I think it helps me become a better professor, but I think it's helped me grow over the years as well. So they've really been, I've been so grateful to have them and be in this leadership position.
Awesome.
And I'll say that, getting involved in Phi Theta Kappa from a leadership perspective, I was absolutely coerced by hand pies. That will be a thread in this conversation. That when I first got here, Misty Griffith, who's a professor in the science area for us, would bring me hand pies or offer me hand pies when she would make them. And I don't know what happened. Something changed. Maybe too much familiarity. After the first Phi Theta Kappa event that I had a chance to go and see thousands of students from across the country and seeing how they represent themselves, their institutions, their families, their communities, it became bigger than the hand pies. But I'm thankful for Robin Keel for introducing me initially to Dr. Lynn Tincher-Ladner, who's the CEO and president of PTK, and then it simply snowballed from there.
PTK, excuse me. Do you all call it PTK? I keep looking at PTK, I'm like, it's not rolling off my tongue. I like the Phi Theta Kappa myself, but.
It feels like it's got like a little bit of prestige to it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we spoke earlier about this being Women's History Month. And I was curious, off the cuff, no pressure, but who is, if we can go around the room one more time, who is a woman who has inspired you, not even necessarily Phi Theta Kappa related, just in life, who is a woman that has inspired you to go forward in whatever you're doing?
I would like to say my mother, because my mother, when I graduate this May, it will be 30 years exactly after my mother graduated from Motlow. And my mother did that. Motlow gave her the opportunity now that I'm having it in a later part in my life as well. With 4 children, single mother, worked 2 jobs, and she still graduated from Motlow. It's changed my life, changed her life, and it's changed my life. So, and I'm really proud of her for everything she achieved.
Excellent.
So there's a few people I look up to. Well, someone who first comes to mind is definitely Catherine. I love seeing a woman in a leadership position, especially someone who's like so great and compassionate about it. And she was definitely really helpful to answer all my like super late night honors and action questions. So I just really love to see women in power that are confident. It just really gives me someone to look up to. Another person I also immediately think of is this girl named Mia Sovetto. She's online. She's a student at Brown University, I believe. She's studying neuroscience, and I really love neurology. She is the CEO of her own research company, so I found that really inspiring. And someone who also comes to mind is a female neurologist I shadowed. She was so compassionate with her patients while having the patient care aspect, so that was just really awesome to see.
The first woman that comes to mind is my mother. And it's not in the traditional sense of she did all these great things or had all these accomplishments. Actually, quite the opposite. she struggled in life with depression and fear and phobias. But she was still the strongest and most stubborn woman I've ever met. And God rest her soul, it's been 13 years since she passed. But it forces me to do what she didn't. I want her to be proud that I have earned these accomplishments and put in the time. And she made a difference in my life to stand up for myself. And as chapter president, I have tried to stand up for all of our members so that they can be the best that they can be. So, not traditional in this sense, but still, she is in my head every day pushing me to do better.
Absolutely. Inspiration is inspiration.
I would probably say, I think I have to say my mother. I think if my mom sees this and I don't mention her, she's gonna
Yes,
love you,
Karen.
mama. Another influential woman in my life has probably been a woman from the Virginia State University. Her name is Dr. Meg Jay. She is the author of The Defining Decade, and I'm gonna say it was that book that really pushed me into going into college. There's one other book by another gentleman, but Meg Jay, she studies 20-somethings and how to kind of like push through your life, how to get the best opportunity, how to make the most connections, and I believe her book should be read by everyone. It's given me a lot of insight in how to live through my life, and I don't think that she gets enough appreciation as it is. I'd also like to mention my stepmama. She's a great woman. She's given me a lot of convictions in life, and it's preached how to live, how to stand. And she's also a teacher, so she's a first grade teacher, so she taught me that you're not gonna tie your own shoe without doing it yourself. She's a great woman. She didn't tie my shoe though.
So the first woman that comes to mind is like Sarah, Catherine, and Cameron, which is my mother. She also did not take a traditional route to education. She went back later in life, and she has always pushed me to be the best person I can be, even though I fought her on that because I'm more shy, like I've said. But she's always pushed me to do the best that I can do and also to get involved and show me that I am capable. And then the second woman that comes to mind is a woman named Wanda. She's in my community, and she has taught me that you can have an education along with living and living a traditional life as well.
My mom already knows I'm proud of her, so I'm going to mention a few other people real fast. First, I want to mention all the women that work at headquarters that keep our organization current. There are too many amazing scholars and brilliant people there to name individually. For me personally, I would like to also mention the late Melody Anderson, which was a local member who changed a lot here, and we have scholarships in her name, and the late Jackie Heights, who changed my life by investing in me as a Heights scholar. But most of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that Phi Theta Kappa started out as a women's organization for women's colleges. And later, a lot of us were blessed to be able to join, but I am very grateful for the women who forged a foundation that could start this legacy that we try to continue today.
So with many of the others, I would have to mention my mom first and foremost. She was the one that encouraged me to go to school and better my life. She was a single mom, went to Motlow later in life and graduated. She's a very proud Motlow graduate. And then she went on to get degrees at university. But she's always been my rock and my cheerleader, and I could not have done any of this without her. Even though she is stubborn and hard-headed like myself, we're very much alike, I couldn't do it without her. But I also have to give a shout out to my Motlow bestie, Misty Griffith. She is a cheerleader, and she supports us in more ways than she realizes. So I wouldn't be in my Motlow journey without having her support as well.
I can't not let you answer this question. Young sir.
I appreciate that. I'm fortunate that I spent a lot of time with my grandmother as a boy, Janie Lee Lambert from Dinwiddie County, Virginia. Now it's an artifact. You know, everyone will learn that name, but patience, the smell of pancakes and bacon on Saturday and Sunday mornings, with Mahalia Jackson playing to wake me up, or Otis Redding, or Al Green. You know, those are memories that are seared in my head. And the sound of my grandmother saying to her sister Naya, because they talked every morning, and whenever I would stay, I'd hear them say, John Brown. So John Brown was code word for something, which is not for this recording. Okay? And I declare, and it was often led by Lord, I declare, which depending on the inflection in your voice, what it meant. Like, it could have been a good thing, a bad thing, or a mediocre thing. And I'll absolutely say my mother, single mom, raised me from Southside Richmond, helped me see vision and see things in myself that I didn't know that I had in myself as the only kid, and the importance of believing in yourself, not buying in for selling, but actually to believe in yourself. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my wife Jamie and my daughter Anna Blair. They're inspirations for me, and they're rock stars, and they're really sharp and fine people for the most part. Yeah, you know, and when I say the most part, it's usually something I did, and I don't like their response to what I did. But those are the women in my life that are really inspirational. But professionally, I work with them every day. Our cabinet, you know, these wonderful students, our faculty, and I'm not giving that lip service. Like, I don't say that just to say it. I'm not trying to make friends. There are a lot of people that we don't get along all the time, but the women at this institution carry a great load, as all of us do, but they carry a great load, and they simply get it done.
Excellent. If you notice one thing about Dr. Torrance's responses, they all lead back to food. I don't know what that is. Food is involved somewhere. I hear it. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about strategic alignment. I have a question for Catherine. What does it feel like when students are involved into when students are invited into meaningful work that connects to institutional priorities?
Wow, that's a big question to start off with.
But I knew you could handle it.
One of my goals as chapter president was recruitment, was to bring people into an organization that had literally flipped my world upside down in some of the best ways possible. So Cameron was recruited from one of our events. Hannah was recruited from one of Psi Beta's meetings, because Aslan was also Psi Beta. And Aslan was recruited by me because we had a creative writing class together. These people, I liked to talk about Phi Theta Kappa because it brings me so much joy. It aligns with Motlow. It aligns with just, it's almost no pressure. It's, you come in, you have these goals, and Phi Theta Kappa is there almost like a hammock to hold you up and say, we're going to help you get there. So for me, they're very much hand in hand. And the people that have heard me talk about it, and then ended up joining, their values are the same. So they walk into it and it feels like home. I'm just so grateful for all of it and everybody I have been able to work with, the students, the advisors, the faculty. I'm almost speechless because it means that much to me to watch them just grow. They come in and then they get these ideas. Hannah had an idea to start another organization. She came to me. She's now the president, and it's going strong. Cameron, he started one. We didn't talk about it, but he started one. It fits with everything that Motlow wants. It fits with everything that Phi Theta Kappa wants. The fellowship, the 4 hallmarks. They make anything possible as long as you're willing to put in the work.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let me talk to the advisors for a moment. From your perspective, what does strategic alignment look like when it is working well?
For a college, especially with the academy, I'm going to say shared governance. One of the things that Dr. Torrence didn't mention is I was a policy analyst when he first came to school, on top of being an advisor. And it wasn't me that invited him to the first PTK meeting. It was a young scholar named Karina, who he goes, you know, when are you going to come to a meeting? Come join in and tell me what the students want you to go. And she looked at me and goes, well, when are you going to come to one of ours? And he was at the next one. And he was a part of Phi Theta Kappa from that day forward. I helped connect him to information. I made sure he got text the minute somebody won something, was nominated for something. I made sure he met the people in the room that I knew, and he went from there and launched on. But he wanted to make sure that not just the voices of Phi Theta Kappa, but the voices of students were in the rooms for shared governance, for strategic planning. And the fact that it wasn't trying to shape what they had to say, but it was creating avenues for them to communicate what they needed, what they heard, whether it was during COVID and we needed tech, whether it was during partnerships that we had with the community, whether it was alumni and how we remember the people we left behind. He's been there to listen and make sure that there are places in policy, in strategy, where student voices are asked for, and he has fostered that in the people that serve beneath him in the organizational structure. There is not a time where an EVP or a VP or an AVP doesn't reach out and goes, we need student voices. Who can you find? And it's not just Phi Theta Kappa. Phi Theta Kappa will reach out to whoever they can, and we will get as many people in there as we can. But the student voice has been a priority from day one of this administration, and alignment has to do with that being not performative, but being an authentic need that this president has inspired. Not the only president that has inspired, but definitely has fostered a community where that's the point of it. So.
I'd fist bump you if my arms were longer. Thanks, Rob.
And to add on to what Rob just said, because all of that I think is spot on, but I think communication is really important, and having the relationships and the networking ability is essential for our organization, you know, within Motlow, because we have each other's back, and we want to foster our students and help them grow. But we can do that because we have those relationships. That's one of the great things about being at a community college with small class sizes, and we are a community, we are family, and we have those relationships. I know who they are, I know what projects they enjoy, I know about them, but we also have that relationship with our administration. Having that open communication with you, Dr. Torrence, is really, it's imperative for our organization. So I think to add on to what Rob said, it's communication and network and relation building, but also to have a flexibility, because sometimes things don't always go as planned, and we have learned to be flexible and, you know, to quote Friends, to pivot.
Well said.
Let's talk about the actual work a little bit. I don't know who can best answer this question, so you all, you know, jump in if you feel it applies. What are some of the projects that PTK has led, supported, or helped shape at Motlow?
So the most recent one we did was the Walk for Mental Health, and that was fantastic. We were doing it on the Smyrna campus. We had the staff participate, students, professors. I think we even had like the campus security guy come with us. It was really great, and it was in finals week, so everyone's like kind of stressed, and we're like, come over here, we got snacks, we got cookies, and you can come take a nice walk around campus. Another one we did was with NetTutor. It's something I personally used, especially for like all my essays. I like ran it through that thing like a million times before I submitted it. So that was pretty fantastic.
So every year we do a college project, and we also do an honors and action project. Our college project for the last 2 years has been centered on community, and that's what brings us here today. We want to talk about Motlow's community and what it does for everyone and how PTK wants to support that. As Hannah was talking about, our net tutor the focus was digital community. We wanted to know what the students needed out of our digital community and how could we support them with that. We guessed that it would be AI, but the students wanted to know about net tutor, which surprised us all. I mean, we were shocked with the emergence of AI and how it's just everywhere now. Last year, we wanted to do student community, and it aligned with when finals were, and students are stressed, so we included our therapist and our Motlow counselors to come out and talk about grounding and how can you de-stress so that you can perform better on your tests. So Honors in Action, it's a research-based, but College Project is our baby. That's where we love to really serve Motlow and what the students need.
And we take it through the paces. We're convened by the advisors, and we have a conversation. The last several years has been over Zoom. Sometimes it's face-to-face. And I have snacks. I'm gonna keep the food in my teeth going whenever they come around. But the conversation is really important to me because as a student at South Dakota State University, at Tennessee Technological University, I had great professors and great advisors who, I'll use the word coerced again to invite me into the conversation. If you want to be at the table, then it's really important that people offer you a seat. It's really hard to communicate when someone doesn't make room for you. And in our business of higher education, in our space of learning, training, innovation, and information exchange, we talk about students often. Mm-hmm. Like I talk about you all the time. But I wanted to make sure we were intentionally and purposefully talking to them and listening to what their expectations were and what their needs were. When I was in college in 1996, things were a certain way, and fast forward 25, 30 years, it's completely different. So we want to have not just compelling stories from the students, but we need compelling information that's actionable for us to use to better serve them.
Excellent. Sarah, is there a particular project that's been special to you?
I would say definitely the walk because that's important. It's, you get to break down some barriers there because the students also get to interact with the faculty and the staff. And I mentioned before, but it is intimidating being a non-traditional student, as well as for the younger folks, I'm sure. But you don't often feel like you belong, or that maybe there's barriers, or maybe the younger folks know something that you don't know. And so you don't always feel, I'm fairly outgoing, but not everybody, and I can push past a lot of things, but not I've encountered other students my age that have a hard time doing that. So when you do something like that, it's uniting. You're creating community, you're showing that you are supported, you belong here, you're a part of this. And you get to see your professors outside of the classroom, and then also in turn you're able to feel like then later if you need help you feel more comfortable going to them because they're human too, they're people too, they're not just your professor, now they're your community. So
yeah, and that's something special that I've seen at Motlow in general, the relationship between student, faculty, and administration.
I agree with that.
Emma, can you answer that same question for me? Will you answer that same question for me?
So my answer is like Sarah's as well. The grounding walk on McMinnville campus was truly life-changing for me. And I know that doesn't seem very significant, but I love to walk at home already. And whenever I come to this walk, I was a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, but the grounding techniques that I was taught and just being able to get outside of the classroom and then also to talk to professors and administration that I had never truly talked to before, it just really gave me a sense of belonging. and made me feel like I was very welcomed and had that community there for me as well.
I really want to ask y'all more about grounding, but this is not about that. my daughters talk about grounding, and all I can think of is walking around in the grass with no shoes on. That's all I got. I don't really know.
That's a start.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it, yes.
Okay. I'll accept it. Thank you. I'm part of the grounding community then. Dr. Torrence,
Yes, sir.
I want to ask you about food, but I'm trying to step away from that. Actually, we talked about the relationship between student, faculty, and administration. I feel like that's something that's been fostered by you, not alone, but by you, as mentioned by Rob. Can you speak to that?
Sure. I've been told that I manage by walking, that I lead by bopping, literally being in different places at different times throughout the week. We have 5 locations across 11 counties, 4,454 miles, and I think it's really important that there's a presence. I won't feign like I'm at every campus every week, because I'm not, and that I talk to every student every week, because I don't. But if students are in the pathway, or if students are participatory in governance, or simply just want to start a club like Dungeons and Dragons, I intentionally try to make an effort to pop in. As we know growing up, the most important thing you can do is show up. And I think that if students don't see me show up, then why would they choose to show up? If our faculty don't see me show up, then why would they show up? Our staff, so on and so forth. So the relationship is one of meaning for me, because we only get so many spins on the rock, and at the end of the day, you'll be with your family when it closes, and the things you'll have is the things that you remember. And I want to make meaning and meaningful memories for later on in life. And so my relationships with students, as a matter of fact, like at every graduation that we have, I go into the great hall where they all are, and I'll walk up and down. And most of them, they're too hot. They can't wait to get out there. They got shoes that are brand new, they're too tight, and they're uncomfortable. But the point of looking each one of them in the eye, and it's usually over 1,000 or so students, between 1,000 and 1,200. But I want to see all of them. I'm not going to talk to everybody, but I want to see them. I believe in what we do, and it's not tolerating them. Like when I get a chance to talk to them, I'm not tolerating them. I need to know, because if I don't know what they need, I can't do the best job or co-direct with the rest of the institution to get them prepared for where they're going. So these relationships are important. I even give my phone number, not while they're in school here, but once they're graduating. I'll offer some of them access to me for jobs, or if they just want to talk. I won't call myself a mentor or sponsor yet, because I've only hired a couple of our students that have graduated in the past 8 years. But I become their colleague, not their friend. I become their colleague, and we can walk through some things. So it's important to me personally that they feel that they have access, direct and live, and there aren't any barriers that are invisible between us. As I say, I do one thing different than everybody that I know on the planet, and I purposefully sit at the end of my bed and put my both pants on, legs on at the same time, just so I can say I do it. But other than that, we are really no different, other than the things we read and the things that we believe in, and there's room for all of it. Everyone's welcome here.
Excellent, excellent. Dayron, please tell me I said it right. I've been avoiding it because I was like, I'm going to say it wrong. Dayron.
It's been a curse in my life.
I like
Thank
it.
you, Mom.
I like it. I like it. A lot of successful projects are seen after they're polished, but people don't get to see the work that goes in to create the polished idea or event. How has internalizing that as a leader had an effect on you?
I don't know that I internalize it very well.
No?
I'll be real honest. I'm the one that probably stresses the most. I feel like that's my job in this organization, and Misty's like, yes, this is true. I don't know that I internalize it very well. I am the stressor. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I really do wish that someone could see the chaos of our projects and all the text messages and the rough drafts, the deadlines, and they're all laughing because they're like, yes, that's Darren. That is what she does best. The deadlines. I'm always asking, okay, do you have this done? I always try to move that, that calendar forward and making sure we're on track to where we need to be. So it is very chaotic, but it is a beautiful chaos of teamwork. And the teamwork is key for us. We divide and conquer. We try to work smarter, not harder. And I think that alone is just beautiful. It is just beautiful to see what these students produce in our projects. But it's chaotic.
I'll follow up with that. How do you know when that work makes a difference?
Thank goodness a lot of our work produces quantitative and qualitative data. That qualitative data for me that's the reason that I continue to do this. I've been a Phi Theta Kappa advisor for 15 years.
Wow.
Faculty for 16. And they are the reason why I continue to do this. And hearing those quotes, seeing that qualitative data from the students, that is remarkable. And that's how I know. Because I think it's true. I think those words are really genuinely true. And hearing those voices of our students, knowing that we are doing this for the right reason, that's why I continue to do this year after year. So I think they speak for our projects themselves, because if not, they wouldn't be here today. They are the reason that we are here and we continue to do what we do.
Excellent. Cameron.
Yes, sir.
I don't even have a question. I just want to hear you talk, man. I feel like you got something to say. It's been a minute. Put you on the spot, okay. So,
I joined. Catherine just asked me to say, "How did you join?" And I was just like, I'm not gonna say that she coerced me over the walk. No, she didn't give me like any sales pitches or anything. She was just like, "Oh yeah, no, I hung out all day." I was just like, I think I had, what was it? My only class that day got canceled. I was just like, well, I'm here now. I guess I'm a walk. And then they were setting up a tent, and I was just like, all right, this looks fun, I guess. Oh yeah, I mean, I was already wanting to get involved. A lot of my classes were, they weren't like super hard, so I had a lot of free time, and I was just like, you know what, I kind of want to get involved in something before I leave here, because I feel like I've met a lot of inspirational people. A lot of the staff, like one of the staff specifically, Dr. Adams, she is probably one of the most inspirational figures at this campus. But I kind of just joined on a limb, and I was just like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Did you come up with any questions? I'm just kind of just talking.
I like what you're saying. I'm just listening to you expound on your experience. What skills have you developed that will stay with you beyond college from your time with PTK?
I'm probably going to say asking a lot of questions, trying to get an understanding of everything. I think one thing I really remember is a text thread with Catherine for 2 hours where we constantly sent emails back and forth, where I was just like, so like, they have these phrases for the projects. There's HIA and CP, which CP's college project and HIA is Honors in Action. And Hannah and Catherine would talk about them like interchangeably at like just like over the meetings, and I'm just like sitting here, I'm just like they're talking in Morse code, and I think they're talking about me. I don't know. I knew I was wearing deodorant. I knew it wasn't my smell or nothing, but it was just being persistent and wanting to be fully knowledgeable what's going on around you. Because I know with half of the like half the organizations I've been in, I've just been kind of just be like, I'll figure it out. I'll put my feelers out, and hopefully somebody will give me some eye contact, and they'll be like, you're not doing the right thing. I think you need to be doing something different, and then I'll just readjust, and then and then they'll have like a smile on their face. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing something right now, That's one thing, just being persistent and being, I think, punctual is another thing. That's one thing I really what I really enjoyed about Catherine's leadership is that no matter what, I've sent this woman an email at 11 o'clock at night, and she will send one 2 minutes later, and it's scary. It's very impressive, and it's like recognizing that in leadership is something that like I really like aspire to be in that aspect. And so just being just like seeing something that that's a part of this organization I'm in, and just being punctual. That's what I've gotten from PTK.
Excellent.
Yes.
Can I ask Cam a question?
Of course.
Yeah.
Cam, I see you often,
Oh yeah.
and probably the last several times,
Mm-hmm.
he'll see me walking in, and I'm moving at my pace to get to where I'm going,
Mhm.
and he'll say, "Hey, Dr. Torrence, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, Cam, how are you?" He's like, "I'm great." He'll say, "What are you doing here?"
I don't know. It's just like I've never seen you on campus until I've met you. Like I think we met for the first time over at Motlow on the Hill, and then ever since then I'll just like see you a lot more, and I'm just like, I think it's just like knowing who you are and what knowing that you're the knowing that you're the president. Just kind of like oh wait. I know that dude.
I'm really interested in that because, like, when you're not the only student that asks me that question from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll see me on campus and they'll say, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I work here."
Just passing through.
I'll just kind of like see you walking through. I'm just like, I wonder if I'm just like sitting here. I'm just like, is someone getting hired? Or like, we're about to get another librarian. He's just introducing himself and.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hannah, has this work influenced your future plans?
Definitely. PTK has honestly given me a lot of confidence. I'm on the pre-med track, and like first getting to a community college, I was like really overwhelmed because it's like, oh no, the acceptance rates of like most med schools in the U.S. are like under 10%, and that's honestly kind of terrifying. So I didn't even know where I could possibly start. So PTK was one of the ways that I got involved on my campus, and it's given me leadership, it's given me research experience, and I also think it's showed me how to be like a real leader. Because at first I was just like, oh, it's something you put on your resume, or you can just say, I'm the president, I'm the vice president. But now I can say that I'm very proudly the president of PTK, and just going back to Catherine, I'm not trying to like brag on you so much, but she's honestly a really great president because she's shown me how to be like a real leader. And then another thing, going back to the confidence, is really has given me the confidence to proudly pursue medicine and believe in myself.
Excellent, excellent. Emma, this is a question perfect for you actually. What would you say to another student who is capable, such as yourself, but hesitant to step forward?
What I would say to a student like me is first, just get to know people. Even though you're uncomfortable, if you're like me, put your head down, get to talk to people. Even though it's not in your comfort zone, you'll find your people and your sense of belonging, and do what you're hesitant about. Like for me, whenever I had ran for vice president, I was very hesitant about it. I kind of thought in the back of my mind that I could do this, and with me doing this, I've been able to grow as a leader. and being able to grow with being uncomfortable. So my advice for somebody like me is be okay with being uncomfortable.
Perfect. Let me ask the advisors one more question. How do you support students without taking ownership away from them?
I think the biggest thing is to be a thought partner, to realize that the people that come in as our students, especially at community college, are any age group, any demographic, any intersection of identity. We can learn from them just as much as they can learn from us. We have the institutional memory for both Phi Theta Kappa and for Motlow, and we can talk about here's how we get to this resource, here's what's available to you, here's who the person is that can help you with that. So we become a sounding board for them to bounce their ideas off of. But you never want to curb their wonder or awe or dream. Sometimes dreams are small that are life impacting, sometimes dreams are huge, but we never know what's coming. And so we start with no assumption, just like we do in our research projects. It starts with a question that they come up with, a topic that they're inspired by, and they dig into different disciplines and look at different perspectives and use critical thinking, and they want to look for controversial different things that go against each other and have that Socratic dialogue, that Platonic dialogue that happens. And we're part of that group, but we're not a leader. It's everybody having access to the table and celebrating what each person brings to the table. But it's very much their project, their organization, and we don't let ourselves take that away from them. We are just a stepping stone or a foundation where they can go, if I wanted to do this, is there a way to do it already there, or do we need to come up with a way? And sometimes we figure that out together, and sometimes we have the information, but mostly it's just us getting out of the way and empowering them to do what we know they can do and believe in them.
Along the lines of what Rob said, we are a student-led organization. And we, as advisors and faculty members, we try to keep that in mind, because the projects, the research, all comes back to them. This is not what we want to do, because we have certain areas that we appreciate more than others. I, love the psychology research, and Misty loves the biology research, but it's not about us, it's about them. So we constantly, have to remind ourselves we are a student-led organization, and the work goes back to them. Sometimes it's very hard for us, especially myself, because I am very type A, and
No.
I know, who would have ever thought? And my mother, Darren, that's why I like the deadlines and the timelines. But really, it's all about them. We are their cheerleaders. We have their back. We are their support system. We will try to give them all the resources that we possibly can. But at the end of the day, it's about their work and their goals and their objective for projects, because this is their college experience, not ours.
Sounds good. We're going to go with one more question, actually two more questions for our students. Taking it back to a personal level, why community college for your next opportunity?
Community colleges brings affordability and accessibility. It brings opportunity to the community and to non-traditional students, as well as the regular students as well.
I have a lot of reasons why I could say community college, but I think one of the most powerful is community college really can meet you where you're at. In high school, I was like, I didn't really think pursuing higher ed was an option for me, because I missed so much classes due to some health issues I was having. Then I applied to Motlow, I got here, and there was just so much support from all the faculty and my professors who would my English professor would have so many meetings with me just to help me write this essay, and it's really brought me up to be able to grow so much and pursue what I want to pursue and have that confidence to pursue. I would not be where I am today without attending a community college, getting high scholarship, or getting into a school like Lipscomb and getting a large scholarship, or getting to study abroad with Motlow too. That was fantastic, and that's an opportunity I probably could have not gotten if I went to a four-year university. I think if I went to a four-year university, I would have gotten kind of lost, because there's not that specialized support and they can't really meet you where you're at. It's just a bigger school. So if you choose community college, not is it just a smart financial decision, but it's somewhere where it opens the opportunity of higher education to everyone, no matter where you are in life.
For me, community college, it's why not? Back in 1996, when I was a senior, they had just started offering college courses at high school, at the high school level, and being dual enrolled. I was battling Crohn's disease and struggled to complete that college course. But in my brain, it was when I graduate high school, I need to go to college. So I enrolled with Georgia Perimeter, which was the community college that I was dual enrolled in, and my health prevented me from doing anything with it. As, let's see, 42 was when I applied at Motlow. It was on a whim, and community college was the only answer for me at that time in my life. So I echo what Sarah said and what Hannah said. It is more affordable. I echo what Daron said earlier. The classes are smaller. It is more personal. You immediately feel like people care about you and they want you to succeed, how you need to succeed in the areas and the skills that you have to succeed with. It's one big, huge support system.
The why community college for me is it was a point of redirection. It stood as an opportunity to where I could start something new. Right out of high school, I pursued manual labor work. Worked as an automotive technician for 3 years. I loved it very much. My grandfather did it for 40, but it wasn't something that I was pursuing for me. I was pursuing it for him. I seen community college as just like, okay, this can get me to where I want to go. I don't hate the manual labor work, but you know what? I seen that there was something bigger and broader that I could have pursued, and community college gave me that opportunity. It gave me the steps and the opportunities to do that.
Community college for me has offered a lot of opportunities, but one of the main reasons I chose it is for the small community that it offers, and like everyone else has said, it meets you where you are. And going throughout high school, there was a lot of stigma around community college, but like I've said before, it offered a small community that was more personalized to myself.
Excellent, excellent. And let's wrap it up with this question, which is probably near and dear to Dr. Torrance's heart. Why Motlow?
I'm going to say, like Catherine said, why not? But originally I was going to go ahead and attend for a year, and it was almost on a whim that I changed up last minute and I walked into Motlow, and because I remembered Motlow reached out to me. Motlow, from the moment that I applied, Motlow wanted me there. They made me feel like you belong here. So it opened doors for me that I want for everybody. And that's what community college is, but Motlow is especially near and dear to my heart because of my mother, 30 years ago graduated. It's opened up a lot of possibilities to me, and the community. I love how involved they are in the community, and it's something to aspire to, taking that culture and community with me in my career. And I would like to end up back at Motlow someday, who knows, on some level, maybe a professor, because I have fallen in love with the school and just the whole process, the student interacting with the professors and the staff. It's changed my life.
We'll
And
be
I'm
waiting. We'll be waiting.
So I initially chose Motlow because I'm Tennessee Promise student, so I was like, oh, perfect. It's like so close, and I take Tennessee Promise. But I didn't know there were actually so many scholarships, so when I first started Motlow, I was like, oh wait, I could have technically gone to a four-year university, but when I was at Motlow for at least a semester, it wanted to make me just stay, because it was closer knit. Those classes are smaller. It really feels like your professors care about you. And it was just a really great place to start out and kind of get used to being in higher education and get comfortable with it.
Mine was kind of like looking at a map. So I looked at what was closest to me, and I found a Motlow College in Smyrna and said, that's where I want to go. And I applied, and I'm also a Tennessee Reconnect student because I had not gotten an associate's degree previous to applying at Motlow. And I can't say enough about the success coaches and the advisors across the campus and within every organization that I've spoken to that has relationships with Motlow. Rob is my personal success coach or completion coach. Is that what they're called now?
Student Success Advisor.
There you go, Student Success Advisors.
You've gone through a couple of different packages.
And I wouldn't be where I am today without his guidance. I had 2 previous to him, and I didn't get that the first time I enrolled in community college down in Georgia. There wasn't a coach there that reached out to me. There wasn't direction. I didn't get an email that said, hey, if you've got questions, come here. Motlow did that. It was enormously different. If anybody asked me where they should go for community college or even college in general, I would recommend here because I believe they'd get the same experience I did. And like Sarah said, my whole trajectory since joining Motlow has changed. I hope to come back and be an employee at Motlow to give other students the same experience I got from people like Rob.
I chose Motlow. I think why I chose Motlow is a little unorthodox in a weird sense. I was in a cigar bar talking with some older gentlemen, trying to get some wisdom. I didn't come to college until I was 21, so I was legal. So I was just like sitting here, and I was talking with a gentleman who was significantly more successful than I was. He had, I think he had on some like, I don't know. He had a nice watch, and I just didn't have one then. And I was sitting here talking with him about wanting to study psychology, and he was just like, something about going to college, and something I wish my son did was, I wish he went to community college. I wish he pursued the same thing I did, which was go to community college first, and then go to the 4-year. Because what he told me it taught him was it taught you how to present yourself in higher ed. It teaches you how to present yourself, how the system works before you get to somewhere where you're expected to know already. It is a stepping stone, and that's what made me decide Motlow was because of that gentleman. And Motlow is one of the most successful institutions in this state, is what it feels like. I mean, they got one pretty much everywhere. Like, I think it feels like the Target of community colleges. if I'll be honest with you, that and whenever you come to orientation, I recommend that everyone come to orientation in person, and that's where I found a lot of connection was just talking with the faculty. They really care about being here. Like, they want to get to know you, and they'll stick their hand out, and if you grab it, they'll show you a journey that you would never expect to be taken on, and that's why I chose Motlow.
So, like Catherine, I chose Motlow for essentially location. It is only 20 minutes away from my home, so I was able to still live at home because I went to Motlow straight after high school. And I was very scared to go to college in general, and that just really helped. And like Hannah had said, that it really just bridged the gap from high school to university. And the reason I've stayed at Motlow is for all that it's offered me, as far as I've had some amazing advisors, and especially my advisor, Miss Darren. She has encouraged me to do the best of my ability and has also helped me get into things and pursue honors and PTK and really pushed me to be the best that I could be, and all the opportunities that has given me for leadership and personal growth. So that's why I've stayed at Motlow.
So, you answered the question very well, very well. Why Motlow? I want to thank, I'm going to get to you in a second there, guys. I want to thank Deron, Rob, Emma, Cameron, Catherine, Hannah, and Sarah for being here today, for sharing their thoughts with us and their experience with Motlow State Community College. And I'm going to let Dr. Torrence take us out.
All right. It's always wonderful to get a chance to be still in the same space with you guys. You are not just our why, but you represent better parts of us. It's too much pressure to say someone represents the best of you, but you do represent the better parts of us. I'm thankful that you are open to the knowledge that we want to share, the wisdom that we think we may have learned and we want to impart upon you, and you have grasped it and put yourselves in a position to lead and to be seen by your peers as a person to come to help navigate this place and other spaces. I hope that you leave this conversation today understanding how important your voices are, and that this is an institution that supports you having agency at its institution. It's important that you're a part of what we do because you're the fabric of the ties and bow ties that we weave. We want you to represent us well. We want you to represent yourselves well. And you've done a fabulous job today. So thank you for your time today. To everyone who will get a chance to see this today, or tomorrow, or next week, or next year, I can't say enough about the advisors that we have at this institution who've championed Phi Theta Kappa over the last 16 or so years. I want to give an expressed and explicit thank you to Dr. Lynn Tincher-Ladner, who's the CEO and president of Phi Theta Kappa, and her staff, who are mighty and small, but strong. We appreciate all of the folks who pour into us at this institution and pour into our students. We wish you well, and thank you, Mr. Smith, for taking time out of your schedule to see what we're about and to convene us so that we can communicate what is it about Motlow that makes it so special. Thank you all.
I love it. I'm about to apply right now. Have a good one. Thank you, and good night. Excellent, y'all.
All right. Well done.